Faithful men in a wicked world, Noah and Abraham. God destroys a wicked world but preserves Noah and his family. As humans multiplied, sin and wickedness spread rapidly across the earth. The prophet Enoch was the only one to announce that God would one day destroy the wicked. But evil continued to spread and worsen. Some angels rebelled against Jehovah, leaving their position in heaven and taking human form, driven by desire to marry women. From these unnatural unions came a hybrid offspring, powerful giants called Nephilim, who made the world even more violent and bloodthirsty. God was deeply grieved to see his earthly creation being ruined. After Enoch's death, another man stood out in that wicked world. His name was Noah. He and his family tried to do what was right in God's eyes. When God decided to destroy that wicked world, he wanted Noah and the animals to survive. So he told Noah to build an ark, a huge rectangular vessel, in which he and his family, along with numerous animal species, would be sheltered from the imminent global flood and have their lives preserved. Noah obeyed God. During the decades it took to build the ark, he was also a preacher of righteousness. 2 Peter 2:5. He warned people of the coming flood, but was ignored. Finally, Noah and his family entered the ark with the animals, after which God closed the door. Then it began to rain. For 40 days and 40 nights, torrential rain fell until the earth was completely submerged. The wicked were swept away. Months later, the water level had dropped and the ark came to rest on a mountain. When Noah and his family could finally leave the ark safely, a whole year had passed. Grateful, Noah presented an offering to Jehovah God, who assured him and his family that he would never again bring a flood to destroy all life on the face of the earth. Jehovah gave the rainbow as a visible guarantee in remembrance of this reassuring promise. After the flood, God gave humans 2 new commands. He allowed them to eat animal meat, but prohibited the consumption of blood. He also commanded Noah's descendants to spread across the whole earth. However, some of them disobeyed and, led by a man called Nimrod, united in building an immense tower in the city of Babel, the future Babylon. Their intention was to challenge God's command to fill the entire earth. But God thwarted these rebels' plan by confusing their language and causing them to begin speaking different languages. Unable to understand each other, they abandoned the project and dispersed. Based on Genesis chapters 6-11, Jude 14-15. How did wickedness spread on the earth? How did Noah prove to be a faithful man? What prohibition did God place on mankind after the flood? Almost all of Adam and Eve's descendants rejected Jehovah's rulership. However, there were exceptions, beginning with their son Abel, who was faithful. Later, both Enoch and Noah were said to have walked with God, meaning they conducted themselves in a way pleasing to him. Genesis 5:22, 6, 9. Much of the biblical text focuses on men and women who chose to submit to God's rulership. Abraham, a man of great faith, obeyed Jehovah when he commanded him to leave his homeland and go to a new land that God would show him. About 350 years after the flood of Noah's day, the patriarch Abraham lived in Ur, a prosperous city in what is now Iraq. Abraham had extraordinary faith, which was put to the test. Jehovah told Abraham to leave his homeland and move to another country, which turned out to be Canaan. Abraham obeyed without hesitation. With his wife Sarah, his nephew Lot, and all his household, he set out on the long journey to Canaan, where he began living in tents. Jehovah made a covenant with Abraham, promising him that he would become a great nation, that all the families of the earth would bless themselves by means of him, and that the land of Canaan would belong to his descendants. Abraham and Lot prospered, and their flocks and herds multiplied. Unselfishly, Abraham let Lot choose where he wanted to go. Lot chose the fertile valley of the Jordan and settled near the city of Sodom. But the people of Sodom were immoral and committed gross sins against Jehovah. Later, Jehovah God again assured Abraham that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky. Abraham put faith in that promise. His beloved wife Sarah, however, was unable to bear children. When Abraham was 99 years old and Sarah was nearly 90, God told Abraham that they would have a son. God's words came true, and Sarah gave birth to Isaac. Meanwhile, Lot and his family were living in Sodom. Righteous Lot, however, had not become like the immoral inhabitants of that city. When God determined to execute judgment on Sodom, he sent angels to warn Lot of the impending destruction. The angels urged Lot and his family to flee Sodom and never look back. But his wife looked back, perhaps longing for the things she had left behind. That act of disobedience cost her her life. Based on Genesis 11:10, 1938. Why did Abraham move to Canaan? What covenant did Jehovah make with Abraham? Why did Jehovah destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? In Bible times, a covenant was a contract or formal agreement. Through a series of covenants, which were solemn promises, Jehovah gradually revealed how his purpose concerning the promised seed would be fulfilled. The covenant made with Abraham indicated that the seed would come through his lineage. Later covenants would provide further details to identify the promised seed.